What's happening, troops? Hope all well. So the reason you're watching this is obviously you think you might be somewhat cooked with your maths, but look no further, you're alright. Today we're doing the 2025 paper 1 for maths. So obviously this is your formula sheet. You know, if we were going to do it together, I would take a screenshot of this if you've not already got it. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. Right, so question 1. The fraction question, we'll have a look at this. I'm going to use a pen here. So it's B2 marker saying answer in its simplest form. So first things first, we need to make our fraction on the left here top heavy. So we're going to do that by timesing the 5 and the 2 and adding what's on the top on top of that. So 5 times 2 is 10, 10 add 4 is 14. So you get 14 there over 5. And then times by your 2 over 7. Now, unlike subtract and adding, we don't need the same denominator. However, we do need to cross simplify. So I'm going to highlight here. These numbers, 7 and 14, they can divide into each other. However, 2 and 5 can't. So we're going to be looking at the 7 and 14. So 14 divided by 7 gets you 2. So we've got 2 over 5 here. We're actually just going to, I'm just going to do this. So we get a 2 in there, and 7 divided by 7 is just 1. So we've got 2 times 2 on the top, 5 times 1 on the bottom. So 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 1 is 5. And that's in its simplest form, so you can just leave it at that. Our next question, so we get a wee bit of factorising here, and it breaking our bracket. So question number 2, first things first, I want to break these brackets in here. So the 4, x take away 2, why break out that? How we do that? We just multiply out. So 4 times x and 4 times negative 2. So before we do any factorising, I want to do that first. So that's going to get us 4x and negative 8. Now we can go back to our factorising. So I'm going to bring this down here, and I call it the box method. So with the box method, I'm literally going to draw a box. So I'm going to draw a square. Almost like an England flag. So draw the England flag. Boom, boom. Get the x on top with the 3. And the x on the left and the 5. So every time you're setting up a box method, you're putting the numbers and letters from the brackets that you're given, putting it across the top and across the side. Now we'll go into it and we'll figure out what's inside the box. So the x times x is going to get us x squared. The 3 times x is going to get us 3x. The 5 times the x is going to get us 5x. And the bottom right there is going to get us 15x. 15. Going to get us just 15. So we've got x squared, 3x, 5x and 15. We'll take this out of the box there, and we're going to add it to what we got earlier on there. So we've got x squared taken straight for there. We're going to collect our like terms from in here, so 3x and 5x. If you bring them together, that is going to get you 8x. So 8x, add your 15. So that's our box done. And obviously we've got earlier on as well, so we've got the 4x, take away the 8. So I'm going to take away 8 as well. Now, we're going to collect our like terms, and that will be us. Now we are going to collect our like terms. So x squared, there's nothing that goes with x squared, so we can just leave it at that. 8x and 4x, you add them together, it's going to get 12x. So 12x in there. And 15 take away 8. 15 take away 8 is going to get you 7. So that's our answer. In here, question number 3, we've got the interquartile range. So the interquartile range, it's already been put into order for us, which is good. Basically, we need to find Q3, Q1, figure out interquartile range. So we're going to figure out the middle point first of this line. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 10 numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right down the middle, that's the middle of the numbers here. The middle number on the left side, Q1, is 13. The middle number on the right side is 18. So that is our Q3. That is Q1. Now we need to literally just take them away from each other. So Q3, take away Q1, and this will get you 18 take away 13. 18 take away 13 is just 5. So we can leave it at that. Moving on, we got a wee percentage question, free marker. No bother for us. Let's rattle through this. So we've got, it's reduced, the wedding, in a sale, the price of a wedding dress is reduced by 20%. The sale price of a dress is £720. Calculate the price of a dress before the sale. So the sale price, so after it's been reduced by 20%, is now £720. So I'm going to write in, we've got £720, and that's after it's been reduced by 20%. So that's 80% now of the original price. So 80%, we don't have a calculator, bear in mind. So I want to figure out what 20% is, and I'm going to add that to the original value. So I'm going to do divide by 2. So 80 divided by 2 is going to be 40%. And 40%, so 720 divided by 2, it's going to get £360. So you've got £360. We're not done there, we need to do that again. So divide 40% by 2, and that's going to get us our 20% that we were looking for. And 360 divided by 2 is 180, so I'm going to divide by 2 in there. And that will get us 180. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. So we figured out what 20% is, but we now need to find 100%. So I'm going to add 180 or 20% to the original 80%. So £720, add £180 is going to get you £900. Bosh, easy days. £900 if I can get my words out. That's 3 marks for you. Moving on, we've got the area of a triangle, but before we do it, it's Christmas season. I'm going to take a sip of tea from the Santa mug. I'm filming this on the 6th of December, so it is Christmas season. But anyways, the area of a triangle. So as I said at the start, if you want to look back at your formula sheet here, so I'll put it on screen. However, if you've got a screenshot, have a look at that. The formula for the area of a triangle is area equals half AB sine C. You'll get that in the exam. All these formulas you'll get in the exam. So A equals half AB sine C. We'll stick that in for this. So area equals half AB, excuse the handwriting please, sine C. I'm actually writing on a laptop, that's where a wee bit tricky bit there, but A and B, that represents our two lengths. So boom, boom. Either or, doesn't matter, they're both 6. So A could be 6, B could be 6. They both are. A is 6 and B is 6, but it doesn't matter. Of course, sine C, that's our angle. So our angle, we've been given it already. Our angle is 2 over 3. So let's sub in everything that we know. So area equals half times 6 times 6 times 2 over 3. How I always do this, I find a half and I find 2/3 of the either number. So half of 3, if we are looking in here, half of 3 is just, half of 6, sorry, is just 3. Where 2/3 of 6 is 4. So you've got 3 times 4. And the area of that is 12, and we remember our units, centimetres squared. Bosh! Flying through it, mate. But we're going back to the T. Righto. Straight line. It can be tricky sometimes, but J. Adam Stewart's going to make sure that you get it. So we're going to take our 2 coordinates. So I'm going to take A first and just write it out again. 1, 12, and then the second coordinate is 6 and 2. White work. Write these in. Now, we need 2 formulas. Either both these formulas won't be in the formula sheet, so you need to learn them. But the first formula is a gradient, so m equals y2 take away y1. That's over x2 take away x1. Again, that will not be in your exam, so you need to learn it. The second formula is y take away b equals m bracket x take away a. Mate, light work for you. Light work. Essentially, we need to label our coordinates first. So, a set of coordinates is represented by the x value and the y value. So the x-axis here, the y-axis here. So the first number in the coordinates is x, second number is always y. So we're going to go through and label them. 1 represents x1, so the first x, and 12 is the first y. Where 6 is the second x, and 2 is the second y. From there, we sub that into our gradient formula. So we've got y2 take away y1, so that's going to be 2 take away 12 over our x2 take away x1, 6 take away 1. I should say 9 times out of 10, if it's a non-calculator paper and you're getting a straight line question, the gradient should always come out pretty nice. Everything should be pretty nice. So if you're getting a number they're going, that's going to be tricky down the line, you've maybe gone somewhere wrong. 9 times out of 10 that is, and you can see it clearly here in a second. So 2 take away 12 is going to get you -10. 6 take away 1 is going to get you 5. And 5 divided by 10 to simplify that, or 5 divided by -10, sorry, is going to get you -2. So see how that comes out? Pretty nice. It's non-calculator paper, so just watch out for that. So now we've got a gradient, we can now do part 2. You can pick either set of coordinates. Go for the easier one, mate. You're not trying to impress anybody. The guys that are going to mark this are marking it based off the answers. They're not marking it off, oh, by the way, this guy done class because he went all the tricky stuff, mate. Do what's easy. At the end of the day, we're all just trying to get an A. We're all just trying to pass. You know what I'm saying? So go with the easier one. I'm going to go with 6 and 2. So A and B. Pardon me. So 6 represents A, 2 represents B. We've already got a gradient from before, which is -2. We can sub all that into this formula. So y take away 2 equals -2, which was our gradient, bracket x take away 6. We need to now break out these brackets in here. You get y take away 2 equals -2x add 12. Bear in mind that 2 negatives times together makes you a positive. Now we need to get rid of this -2. We want the y on its own. We want y equals everything else. I'm going to add the 2 to the other side. We will get y equals -2x add 14. And that is your answer for 3 marks, mate. Moving on. Refunctions question 7. So, if the x is changed. So see how this used to be fx, but the x is changed to 6. That means every single x in the question we're going to change to 6, because the x changed to 6. So if bracket 6 equals 3 bracket 6, we're getting rid of the x, add 7. Now we work our way through, so we've got 3 times 6, 18, add 7, that's going to get you 25. So that's our first answer. Our second question, part B, rather than changing all the x's to 6, we're changing all the x's to p. In the beginning, fx, which is now fp, equals 19. So we're going to change all that. So we've got 19 now, equals 3p, add 7. And we're going to try and figure out p on its own. So we're going to take away the 7 here, take away 7, and that's going to get us 12 equals 3p. As I was saying on the last question, everything should come out pretty nice because it's non-calculator. So we're going to divide by 3, that's going to get us 4 equals p. This one separates the men from the boys. Big up Santa Claus. Right, this one does separate the men from the boys. So essentially, we're trying to find out the turning point up here on this graph. We're trying to figure out the coordinates of that. So our y coordinate is pretty easy to try and figure out. So it's as simple as this number at the front here. That represents our y-axis. So that means that the graph is reaching 2 and it's going down to 2. Negative 2, sorry. So it goes up to 2, it goes down to negative 2. The x-axis is, or the x-coordinate, sorry, is a little bit more tricky. So if I was to solve x take away 3, 30. Can I get my words out in this question, man? If I was to try and solve that, I'm sure that everybody watching knows that you need to add 30. And that'll get you x in the zone. So by adding 30, you'll figure out x. That's the exact same here. So normally, the graph would look like 0, 90, 180 in there, 108, 270, and then 360, somewhere in here, right? That's normally where the graph's going to be like. However, it's giving us an instruction that rather than going by the norm, we're adding 30 each time. So rather than 90, we're actually going to have 120, 210, 290, apologies, never mind, 300, 300, and 390 as well in there. So, because that's now 120 opposed to 90 because we've added 30, that's literally our coordinates. We know that it goes up to 2 and it's going along by 120. So if we think y to the sky, so if we think, you know, x first then y, we can figure out our coordinates here. Our coordinates of turning point A because it's saying about A there. Our x coordinate is 120, our y coordinate is 2. Easy days for the boy. We continue. I should say this, right? I know what it's like to be in your shoes, and sometimes things won't make sense. I've done it before. If you ever see a question telling you to state something, you've not got a clue, just write a number down. So this is a bit of a gift of a question because you've got 2 states. So see, as long as you write numbers that somewhat make sense, you'll be alright. So say you had no idea about this question, you're looking at it and going, right, okay, I can see a -3, I can see a -5. You know what I mean? It's got to be probably something to do with A2. So I'm just going to write -3 and -5. If you'd done that, you would get at least 1 mark. You know what I'm trying to say? You don't need any working, nothing like that. So, yeah. However, we're going to try and get 2 marks. So, again, back to the straight line, these both represent A and B. So we know that that's A and B, but in the context of this, they aren't A and B. A and B is in here. So, -3 would go into here, -5 would go into here. When we take out from this bracket, what we take out, the signs flip. Because it's -3 in here, it must have been 3 beforehand. So it must have gone from 3 to -3 to get out the bracket. Where the B is just -5, nothing changes with that outside the bracket because in the bracket the sign flips when you take it out. That must mean that A, rather than being -3, is just going to be 3. So the values of A is 3, the values of B is -5. But again, if you don't know, just write something down. Righty. In here, we indices question. Tricky, but we'll get there. So, the rules of indices, if you're multiplying, you're going to add the indices. If they're on a bracket like this, you're going to times them. And if you're dividing, like this fraction here, if you're going to divide, you're taking it away. That's all that we need to know for this question. So, in the bracket, you know BODMAS, we always do brackets first. We're going to get N7, of course, times them by whatever we get for this bracket. So 3 times 2 is going to get us 6. So you get N7 times N6 divided by N4. Again, BODMAS, you could do the divide if you wanted to. I'm going to do the multiply first. So BOMDAS or BODMAS or whatever you want to call it. N7 times N6 is just 7 add 6. And that's going to get us N13. Divided by N4. Rather than actually dividing by 4, we're going to take away. So that's going to get us N to the power of 9. There you go. 3 marks. No problem. Right, nature of roots. Let's have a look. So the nature of roots, you don't directly get the Santa break. So, the nature of roots, you don't actually get the formula, but you kind of do. Indirectly you do. If you go to the formula sheet here, in the roots of formula, you've got -b plus or minus square root, blah blah blah, don't need to know it, right, for now. However, this part in here, that's the formula that we're going to use for this question. So b squared take away 4ac. So you're not directly given it, but it's inside that question, so you can see it there. So b squared take away 4ac, we're going to go back down to the roots question. We're going to write in b squared take away 4ac. Just like the straight line question where we had to label our coordinates A and B, we're going to kind of do the same thing here. So the x squared, that's going to be our A, the x is going to be our B, and that's going to be our C. And we're literally subbing it in without the x's. So b squared, take away 4ac, you've got 2 squared, take away 4, times by 3, times by 1. 2 squared, that's 4. Take away 4 times 3 times 1, so 3 times 1 is 1. Wow. So 3 times 1 is 3. -4 times 3 is going to get you 12. So -12. 4 take away 12 is going to get you -8. That's your answer, but we're not done there. We need to write our sentence. So the sentence, if the number that you get out is going to be less than 0, that means there's no real roots. If the number that you get out is equal to 0, that means there's one real and distinct root. And if the number you get out is greater than 0, then there's 2 real and distinct roots. So with this, we've got no real roots because b squared take away 4ac less than 0. Therefore, no real roots. Oh, Jesus. Handwriting's murder, I know. Roots. Bosh, that's you. That's how you get the full marks. Okay, research question. Need it in the simplest form, so we've got 6 over root 10. We can't have a sud in the bottom, we can't have a root in the bottom, so we need to get rid of that. How we get rid of that is we're going to times by root 10 over root 10. Root 10 over root 10. A wee hack. A root times by a root, which are both the same numbers, is just going to get your number inside it. The reason is root 10 times root 10 is root 100, but the root of 100 is just 10, so we can just write 10. And 6 root 10, 6 times root 10 is just 6 root 10. So we've got 6 root 10 on top over 10 on the bottom. It did ask for its simplest form, and that can be simplified. So we're just going to simplify that. Divide them both by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And root 10 as well. So we've got 3 root 10 over 5. Bosh. We've got P add Q. We need to figure out P add Q first, right? We've been given the value of P, we've been given the value of Q. Value of P is 5 over 2. The value of P is 5, 2, sorry. That add the value of Q, which is 1, negative 3. It's simple as just adding the tops, adding the bottoms. So 5 add 1, 6. 2 take away 3 is negative 1. Now we just need to draw a vector. So we're going to go along 6, down 1. It's going to be a straight line. So start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hopefully you can draw yours a wee bit straight like mine. And we're just going to draw in our arrow as well. That's our vector question done. On to this fraction question here. So the same as any add and subtract and fraction question, we need the denominators to be the same. So the common denominator here is x bracket x take away 1. So I'm going to keep that for both of these. So x take away 1. Nice one. Now we've gone from x take away 1 on this side to x bracket x take away 1 on this side. So we times by x to get that. So I need to times the top by x as well. So we've got 5x. Same on the other side, we went from x to x bracket x take away 1, so we need to times by x take away 1. So that means we're going to have 4 bracket x take away 1 on top. From here, we can put them all over the same denominator. So we've got 5x take away 4 bracket x take away 1 over x bracket x take away 1. We'll then break out these brackets. So 5x take away 4x, and then negative 4 times negative 1 is going to get you positive 4 over x bracket x take away 1. 5x take away 4x, collect our like terms, it's just going to get us x, and then add 4, and that's over x bracket x take away 1. Our final question, this one is tricky without a doubt, but we're going to do it. Find the expression of the area of a rectangle. So the area of a rectangle, first of all, we know from primary school, area equals length times breadth. That is the area of a rectangle here. We know that. The length times the breadth in here is 2x add 3. 2x add 3, and then our breadth is x add 1. That's already a mark, mate. That's already a mark, so you take that already. In here, given that the area of a rectangle is equal to the area of a square, show that x squared take away x take away 6 equals 0. So that's the answer. This is actually the answer here. So we just need to figure it out. So it's giving us the answer, so if you don't get that out when you finish, then you must have gone wrong somewhere. So we need to figure out the square here. So we know that the square is, again, area equals length times breadth. So it's got to be x add 3, x add 3. We've already got 2x add 3, x add 1. So we need to do 2 different box methods. So 2x add 3, x add 1. And then our other box, we've got x add 3, x add 3. So that means that we need to do 2 different box methods. First one in here. Two x add 3 on top. Whoopa. 2x, 3, x, and the 1. X times 2x is 2x squared. 3 times x is 3x. 2x add 1 is 2x. 3 times 1 is 3. So we're going to leave that, we'll come back to it. Our other box is x add 3, x add 3. So we've got x, 3, x, and 3. So x times x get you x squared. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times x is 3x as well. 3 times 3 is 9. Bosh. So let's take all that information out the boxes and figure it out for there. We've got collect alike terms, so the 3x and the 2x is 5x, so we've got 2x squared. Add 5x. Add 3. Our other box is collect alike terms. 3x add 3x is 6x. So we've got add x squared. So we've got equals x squared add 6x. 6x add 9. Now we need to get that to this. So I'm going to make sure my x squareds are positive. So I'm going to take away x squared from this side. So I've got now 2x squared take away x squared, which is x squared. Add the rest. 5x. Add 3x. Equals 6x. Add 9. I'm going to take away our 6x there, so take away 6x. That's going to get us x squared, take away x, add 3, equals 9. Now, take away the 9. So we've got equals 0. So x squared, take away x, take away 6, equals 0. Does it match your answer we're looking for? It does. There's your marks. So, we've been given this out here. We've been given it here. We're going to factorise that. So we've got x squared, take away x, take away 6. So, take away x, take away 6. Yes, again, another box method. 3 box methods in the same question. Criminal. Criminal, man. Criminal. So we've got x squared at the top there. Take away 6 down the bottom. 2 things at times to get you x squared. X. X. 2 numbers at times to get you negative 6, but if you add them together you get negative x. We can go through all the multiples of 6, but I'm going to guess I'm going to go negative 3 and 2. So 2 times x is 2x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And right enough, bring that together, we'll get us negative x. So 2 take away 3 will get us negative x. 3 negative 3 times 2 gets us negative 6. So we know we've done it right. We just need to write an answer. So x take away 3. X add 2. We take that for the sides. And it's asked us to solve it. So we need to figure out what the value of x's are. X take away 3 equals 0. X add 2 equals 0. To figure out what x is 3. We're just adding the 3. And in here we're going to take away the 2. So x negative 2. So the 2x, we've got 2x add 3. Add 3, x add 1 I believe. Boom, mate. Now we need to sub these in for the x's. So 2 times 3. So we're going to sub that in. So 2, 3, add 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Add the 3, that will get us 9. This side, we can't use negative 2. Negative 2 is not a length. We've ran out. You can't get a negative length. If I tell you that this iPhone was negative 2 centimetres, you'd be like, well, that can't be, right? So cross this out, and again we sub in a 3 there. So 3 add 1, and that gets us 4. So our two answers are 9. X is 9. So our two answers are 9 centimetres and 4 centimetres. Hope we all found that pretty decent. You know, going to be different bits. Some parts easy, some parts hard. All of it easy, all of it hard. Who knows? That varies from person to person. However, that's only scratching the surface of National 5 Maths. If you want further help, visit www.jadamstutor.com. Log on there, easy days. Takes you no longer than 2 minutes to get set up, and I'll sit down with you one-to-one, or one of my tutors will sit down with you one-to-one and help you directly. Before I go, my tea has gone cold. No M&M reference, but I'll see yous in the next one. All the best. Good luck with your exam.